Hello, Studio Arts. Alright, so we're going to start our first major project, this will be weighted at 40% of your grade, of a grid drawing. Now, I've heard that some of you already did this in middle school, so good, you probably know what a grid drawing is. But we're going to do this a lot bigger and a lot more difficult. To convert this from, we're going to do a ½ inch grid on this one to an inch grid on this one. Now, a few things I want to point out before I start is a lot of people will just put little markers for themselves for their grid along all one side and then try to draw a straight line, and it ends up being all sorts of wonky. That's not going to work at all. You have to do little tick marks for yourself on, like, at least for the long way, on middle, or side, middle, side. And for the short way, both sides. By the way, if you just want to do this on lined paper, you are more than welcome to. I just want to see an exact replica of a picture using a grid. Just so you know. If you have questions, just email me. So, I guess I'm going to start using my handy dandy ruler. I'm doing this on 12 by 15, 12 by 18 sheet of paper. And I think this is like, what, maybe like 6 inches by 3 inches by 4 inches, something like that. So I'm going to start doing my little tick marks along both sides, and then I'm going to get my even grid because I want a perfect 1 inch grid on this one. And then on this one I'm going to do a ½ inch grid. And on this one I'm going to use Sharpie just so I can see it easier on the grid. Okay, so now I have my image completely gridded and my paper. Now, in my case, my image is not proportional to my paper, meaning I do not have the same amount of squares on my image as I do on my paper. So, for instance, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a quarter. 7 1/4 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And for instance, my paper is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 by 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 10, 11, 12, 13. By 18. Which means, and like for all intents and purposes, let's just round this up to 8. So I have 4 extra blocks on this side, and if it's 18, I have 5 extra blocks on this side. So that means I would like to have mine centered. You don't need to, but I have too many blocks. I'm just going to cut them off in the end, but just so I don't lose track of where I need to go, I'm going to mark off what I don't need. So I have 4 extra blocks here, so that means I don't need this, I don't need this. That makes 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then since I have 5, it's going to be an uneven split, so I'm going to have 2 and 3 blocks going this way to make 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So do not do what I'm about to do, but just to show you the area in which I will be working, I'm just going to outline it. So this area is how big this is going to be in the end. It's going to be about twice the size because they have the same amount of blocks in each area. So now that I'm drawing this, I'm going to time lapse through my whole drawing of this, so it'll go by pretty fast. But no, it's probably going to take me maybe like 4 hours to do this whole thing. So I'm going block by block. So you're going to go 1 square to 1 square. So just go in order, start in a corner, and just go all across or down. Do not randomly pick places to go, it's gonna screw you up. Also, what I don't want you to do is try to outline. Just don't do that. Just focus on 1 square at a time. If you get easily like mixed up, just take scrap pieces of paper and isolate the 1 block you're working on at a time. You're only doing what's in that 1 little square at a time. So you're not drawing the whole picture, just focus on 1 square at a time. I'm gonna give you guys about a week and a half to do this. That should be plenty of time to do whatever you are capable of doing. If you have issues with getting supplies or figuring out what to do for yours, please contact me and let me know. Okay, so now that I am all done with the shading of this, I'm going to blend. I'm going to be using a blending stump. If you don't have one, don't worry about it. You can use a Kleenex or just a tissue. That works just fine. So I'm going to be worrying about blending the background and this back part of the wolf's fur here. Basically anything that's out of focus, I'm going to blend. Now, if you're not sure what you should blend versus what you shouldn't, generally speaking, things that are soft, smooth, or out of focus, blurry, should probably be blended. If it's rough or has a lot of texture, it probably should not be blended. So, here we go with the blending.